U.S. President Donald Trump defied a federal court order deploying 300 California Guard troops to Portland. U.S. District Judge Karin Immergut swiftly blocked the deployment, ruling the move unlawful and unconstitutional. The judge blocked the Trump administration from sending federalized National Guard members from California or any other state to the streets of Portland, Oregon. This after California and Oregon officials raced to court, accusing Trump of a brazen end run around judicial authority. The late-night ruling followed a tense virtual hearing as Immergut granted an emergency restraining order. Governor Gavin Newsom blasted Trump's decision as a breathtaking abuse of law and power by President Trump. Newsom vowed to fight what he called an attack on the rule of law and defiance of court authority. The White House defended Trump's move, saying it was to protect federal assets and personnel in Portland. The Justice Department argued Trump had the right to deploy troops during unrest, but the judge disagreed. Immergut noted there was no evidence of new violence in Portland to justify federalized troop action. The ruling also bars the deployment of National Guard units from any other state or from Washington, D.C. California Attorney General Rob Bonta called the action a shocking attempt to bypass the Constitution. Trump has repeatedly targeted Democratic cities, claiming he's responding to rising crime and chaos. The Portland order came just a day after Trump tried to send Oregon's own guard, also blocked by the court.
I think we all know that we're in an incredibly dangerous place in America right now. And today's ruling is an important wake-up call for the United States president. No president is allowed to make up facts or rely on social media trolling or posts when deploying the United States military in our cities. It's an incredibly dangerous precedent to set in America. And today's ruling halts what appears to be the president's attempt to normalize the United States military in our cities. As this case progresses through the court system, we're asking everyone to respect the ruling, protest peacefully, and be respectful to all of the dedicated law enforcement and National Guards members that serve our great state.
Today's decision reaffirms what we've long maintained: the federal government overstepped its authority. As the judge noted in her decision, we provided substantial evidence that the protests at the Portland ICE facility were not significantly violent or disruptive in the days or even the weeks leading up to the president's directive on September 27. I've said from the very beginning, the number of federal troops that are needed or wanted is zero.
Brother, I need to be right here.
For what? Ain't nobody doing no fucking shit here. Fuck you.
Portland is a peaceful city. This narrative was manufactured. The actual facts on the ground are one of peace. We haven't had the issues that were created in the national narrative. We knew this locally, and our attorneys successfully were able to make that compelling argument yesterday. And today's temporary restraining order is validation that it's time for us to move forward and that facts matter.
Hours later, we received notice that California's National Guard was going to be deployed to Portland by President Trump, approximately 300 troops. Since that time, staff and attorneys at the Department of Justice have been working incredibly hard. And as this press conference is going on right now, we are working to amend our complaint in federal district court to add California as a complainant and file our second temporary restraining order to pause the actions of the President of the United States. What was unlawful yesterday is unlawful today. What was unlawful with the Oregon National Guard is unlawful with the California National Guard. The judge's order was not some minor procedural point for the president to work around like my 14-year-old does when he doesn't like my answers. We need leadership in this country that understands the power of bringing people together to solve our greatest challenges. But the president, right now, is persistent on acting like a door-to-door salesman and doesn't understand that when the court says no, the court means no, and that is not an invocation for negotiation. The state of Oregon will absolutely not be a party to the president's attempt to normalize the use of the United States military in our American cities. All of us care about public safety, but you do that by working in partnership, and you do that by working in collaboration. And we do not use our United States military as a tool in political theater. Right now, California will be added to the complaint, and a temporary restraining order will be filed here shortly. Those will become public very shortly. Our intent is to get in front of the judge again as quickly as possible, hopefully as soon as tomorrow, to provide clarification to the federal government that it doesn't matter whether you use the California National Guard or the Oregon National Guard. It is unlawful. The judge was incredibly clear that Portland, Oregon does not need the military to effectuate its safety. Finally, we ask, as this case continues to progress through the court systems, that everybody remains peaceful as they exercise their right to be heard in this process. With that, I will go ahead and turn this over to the governor.
Thank you, Attorney General Rayfield, for your great work and your whole team at the Department of Justice. So, as the Attorney General mentioned last night, I received intelligence that 101 federalized California National Guard members arrived in Oregon by plane and were then sent to Camp Withicum. That's the facility operated by the Oregon Military Department. It is our understanding that there are an additional 99 California Guard members en route today. So assuming a total of 200 service members from the California National Guard will shortly completely be in the state of Oregon. However, my office has received no official notification or correspondence from the federal government regarding this action by the president. This action appears to be intentional to circumvent yesterday's ruling by a federal judge. This afternoon, I sent a message to Northern Command directing them to obey the October 4th court ruling from yesterday and take no further action regarding deploying troops in Oregon. I also directed that those troops that will be at Camp Withicum should be restricted to that facility, and that the California National Guard troops should be sent home as soon as possible.
We've already seen that President Trump successfully made D.C. safe again in only a few weeks. That same crime crackdown will continue to happen in cities across the country and is happening in Portland, Oregon. President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all. The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other left-wing domestic terrorists. What's been allowed to happen in Portland, and we saw disturbing video footage of this last night, this is not peaceful protesting, this is left-wing anarchy that has been destroying this great American city for years, leaving police officers battered, citizens terrorized, and business properties damaged.